war was over. Troy had fallen. The greatest kings of Greece had won. Songs would be sung of heroes. Stories would be told for generations. To the world, the tale had ended. But for me, my story was only beginning. I am Odysseus, king of Ithaca, a warrior to my enemies, a husband to my wife, a father to my son. And this is the story of how I spent 10 years trying to find my way home. Even now, after all these years, I remember the day I left. The morning sun painted the shores of Ithaca in gold. My ship waited at the harbor. The men were preparing for war, but my eyes were fixed on only two people: my wife, Penelope, and my son, Telemachus. He was still a child, too young to understand what was happening. He smiled as he held my hand. He thought I would return soon. I wished I could believe the same. Penelope tried to be strong. She smiled for me, but I could see the fear hidden behind her eyes. She knew what war meant. She knew many men who sailed away never returned. As I knelt before my son, I promised him something. I will come home. Simple words. Words every father wants to keep. Then I embraced my wife one final time. Neither of us wanted to let go. There are moments in life when your heart whispers a warning, a feeling that something precious is slipping away. As I stepped onto that ship, I felt it. This was not a goodbye for a season. This was not a goodbye for a year. This was a goodbye to the life I knew. The sails rose. The wind carried us from shore. And slowly, Ithaca disappeared beyond the horizon. I did not know it then, but 20 years would pass before I saw my home again. 20 years of storms, of monsters, of gods, of loss, and of a promise that refused to die. My name is Odysseus, and this is my story. The war was over. Troy had fallen. At last, my men and I turned our ships toward home. We believed the battle was behind us. We were wrong, because the real battle was only beginning. Not against kings, not against armies, not against swords or arrows. This was a battle against destiny itself. The sea stretched endlessly before us. Each wave carried us closer to Ithaca, closer to my wife, closer to my son. Or so I hoped. Then we found an island, quiet, beautiful, peaceful, too peaceful. There were no walls, no soldiers, no signs of danger, only smiling faces. The people called themselves the Lotus-Eaters. They welcomed us as friends. They offered food and a strange golden fruit. I sent several of my men ashore. Hours later, they still had not returned. When I found them, they were laughing, smiling, at peace, as if the war had never happened, as if home had never existed. The lotus fruit had stolen something from them, not their lives, not their strength, their memories, their purpose, their desire to return home. The men who had survived 10 years of war no longer cared about their wives, their children, or Ithaca. They wanted only to stay. That was the day I learned a lesson. Not every enemy carries a sword. Some arrive with a smile. And some battles are fought inside the mind. I forced my men back onto the ships. As the island disappeared into the mist, I stood alone and watched the horizon. The sea was calm, but my heart was not. If this was the first test, what waited for us next? Ahead, through the fog, another island emerged. Dark, silent, waiting. And on that island, a monster was waiting for me. A monster whose curse would change my life forever. I am Odysseus. and this is only the beginning of my story. Ahead of me lay monsters, gods, storms, and trials beyond imagination. But those tales must wait for another chapter. If you'd like to continue this journey with me, subscribe and turn on notifications. Join me in the next chapter, where I come face to face with the monster who would change my fate forever. Until next time, the journey continues.